This is what we have coming up on match number 38 from Dubai. Punjab taking on Delhi. Now, Delhi might be sitting pretty. They might already be planning for a playoff spot. But remember, for Delhi, it's about ensuring 1 and 2. For Punjab, it's now about pinching themselves and saying, no, the weekend wasn't a dream. We actually can win. We have won. And we now have a more than mathematical chance of getting through to those playoffs. So huge game for Punjab. They need that momentum to keep going against the winningest Delhi team.
Yeah, I think to me, it's they'll enjoy this ground. That's the first thing. They had the win, obviously, there the other night, and that would have done them the world of good. I think moving forward to tomorrow night's game at Dubai. They'll have confidence in some of the batsmen that are starting to, find a little bit of form. Chris Gayle, new into the side, in some sort of form, so that'll be good for them. And they just got to follow Shami. They just got to follow Mohammed Shami's, just his work ethic and his belief. If they can just follow him, they'll be all right.
Yeah, let's have a look at the squads and see if we can spot any potential changes. And since we've talked about Punjab, we'll stick to them. And I think the way they won that last game, no matter how it finished, they'll just be looking at this and saying, well, I think we've got pretty much everything okay, unless you're looking for Sheldon Cottrell to come back, Simon?
No, that's a big no on that point. The only worry, the real worry, and I know he bowled well the other night, 4 overs, none for 27, but we keep talking about it, Joy, that the worry's Maxwell, the way he's getting out and just no runs.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the only one that they look at and say that, but now they're too far gone. I mean, the situation they are, I think they just got to play out this year the way it is. Maxwell is the only guy they look at because everyone else has done something. I think even Chris Jordan has shown enough to say he should be selected ahead of Cottrell. And I think, there's no doubt that Gayle is going to play at this point in time. There's absolutely no doubt that he's going to play. So that rest of them reasonably pick themselves out. I think that they'll stay with this combination. My only worry is that sometimes when you do a really big game and you win it, you can go flat just after that because, you were so pumped up that, that when that adrenaline goes away, it's not easy. But the reverse side of it is that they have everything to play for. And this Delhi team is just playing to stay and be at number 1, number 2. So they have much more at stake than Delhi. So they'll go hard at least.
But before we go to Delhi, just to conclude that, so if you do think there's a possibility of a Maxwell sitting out, assuming they do look at that and agree with you, who comes in then?
That's the point. There is...
I don't think James Neesham's done anything to warrant a spot on the side, and Maxwell, the only reason he's going to stay there is on his bowling at the moment. We're going to get back to 2016 since Glenn Maxwell made a half century in an IPL game. 2016, yet he still commands massive money. Well, he's had opportunities aplenty to score runs, but just hasn't done it. And the issue with Glenn Maxwell at the moment is just the way he's getting out. That's the problem. But he's bowling well enough to stay in that side. You're not going to pick Huddersfield Ewan. James Neesham, I don't think, is going to get another run. And I don't think they want to, I don't know, I mean, I'd say weaken their batting because he's not getting runs. So they could bring Mujib in and give themselves another bowling option, I suppose. But it does just mean that Jordan has got to bump up a little bit higher in that batting order, and I'm not sure they're prepared to do that. But it's Joy, top 4. Look at the top 4 compared to a Chennai top 4. Mayank, KL, Gayle, Quran. Just packed with quality and power.
And Deepak Hooda has done enough in that last match to show he's got a bit to him.
Yeah.
I think more than the runs he scored is the character of, fighting. I thought Murugan Ashwin did very well for them. Shami, Bishnoi, they're all doing Arshdeep. They're all performing. They're committing themselves. I think Maxwell's a worry. Maxwell for Neesham, I just think they're too far gone to change that. But that's the only one I would just, other than that, I'd just say the law of averages. Maxwell will come good one day, It's one of those.
Here I thought, Joy, you were going to go with the equivalent of Piyush Chawla and say Mujib can get in for his batting. Yes, he will bowl for you, but let's get Mujib in, stick him in at number 7, and no?
Oh, stop it. We're not having that.
If you're having Mujib for his batting, they'll have a longer tail than a kangaroo. There's because Mujib will have to bat at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, that's.
But the other thing is, folks, we have breaking news on the program. We have finally found a Kiwi who can do something wrong and is not pushing his way automatically into a team. Jimmy Neesham, you got to wake up. You're on social media pretty often. Let's have a response to this to see how you can get onto the bandwagon of the Simon Dools and the Lockie Fergusons and make sure no Kiwi can do anything wrong. We trust you, Kiwis. That's how we started the show. That's how we are continuing on the show. Let's not forget Delhi. That's who they're taking on. Yes, they're looking for that 1 and 2 spot. But sometimes you can get a little vulnerable. Sometimes you can get a little complacent. Not saying they will, but that's one of the hazards of being on top. We've talked about a couple of people who are not available. One of them, of course, is Rishabh Pant. The new replacement has come in, Praveen Dubey. So, in fact, the other way around. We saw Rishabh Pant warming up. So, there's a possibility of Pant now coming in. And Praveen Dubey brings you that fresh face.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've got him as a replacement in for
Amit
Mishra. And they're looking at him. Look, it's not that he's going to play unless things turn very different or there's a pitch that a leggy needs to have. But at least they have somebody on the bench that they can bowl. They've got enough out here. Question is, do they become like Mumbai and try out a few more players and like Mumbai tried out Nathan Coulter-Nile? Is there anyone they can try? I like the look of Daniel Sams, but frankly, I just like the look of Rabada and Nokia so much that unless they have a niggle and need to be rested, I just stay with what I have. And I thought Akshar Patel did it famously. Remember, he wasn't starting the tournament. They got in Amit Mishra. He started the tournament. Then Amit Mishra came in for Ashwin, bowled so well that they had to drop Akshar. And I think all those 3 spinners have performed. So, really, I mean, other than resting people for injuries or niggles, this is just such a good sight.
But is it automatic for you, Dooley, with Pant, assuming he comes back in, Carey is rested, Hetmyer comes in, normalcy restored?
Yeah, that's their weak point at the moment without Rishabh Pant, is that Alex Carey has been awful. He just has not been able to hit the ball off the block, and comes with a pretty big reputation and has really struggled. So it's an automatic swap. If Pant comes back in, Hetmyer comes back in, obviously, and they're able to change that around, drop Carey and get Rishabh Pant back in. Delhi's massive. I mean, their big bonus is quality top 4 all Indian players, and that means they're allowed to load their bowling and their all-rounder department. They can have Marcus Stoinis, they can have Rabada, they can have Nokia. So they can have 3 genuine bowlers, one of which bats, and 2 of them bowl at 150k. So that's pretty steady.
Yeah, a good top 4, but just a little postscript to that. PS, which stands for Prithvi Shaw. Very good top 4, but they'd like a few more from that young man.
Yeah. I think.
I mean, is he the only one in a little bit of trouble? Because I mean, I guess all of those guys could push up a little bit as well, couldn't they? And they could throw another one in the middle order if they wanted to.
Yeah, but I think Ponting likes him because he's the kind of, as they say in Australian terms, a larrikin. He's one of the boys. He'll do things and all that. And Ponting thinks that he has that power and fast hands to do things for them. So I think he's going to persist with him. But the interesting thing is that if they have to do any changes, I can't see them changing there. Do they change further back? Do they sort of shuffle the batting order around? Does Rahane get a run now? But Rahane, whatever it is, got a couple of chances, not done very much. Or do they just say that, okay, now things are back to normal, you go back to the shed? So, I mean, the problem is Delhi's problems are very minor problems. They're like, okay, too little here, tinker a little here. But the basic engine is very strong. And whereas other teams are trying to solve their complete top 4s and top 5s, and Delhi's got so little to do.